They told you to love yourself, to treat yourself kindly, to forgive yourself easily. But what if that advice, the very thing meant to heal you, is quietly destroying your strength? You see, somewhere along the way, self-love became confused with self-indulgence. We started believing that caring for ourselves meant avoiding pain, comfort chasing, saying yes to every impulse that felt good in the moment. And yet, the more we chase pleasure, the emptier we feel. Think about it. If comfort could make you whole, why do so many people who have everything they want still feel lost? If self-love meant doing whatever feels good, why do we end up with guilt, exhaustion, and regret? Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Real self-love isn't soft. It's discipline. It's waking up early when you'd rather stay in bed. It's saying no to things that drain your soul, even when it makes you unpopular. It's training your mind to stay calm when life tests your patience. In this video, you'll learn 7 Stoic self-care habits that redefine what it truly means to love yourself. Habits that don't rely on affirmations or mood swings, but on strength, self-respect, and inner order. And at the end, we'll uncover the biggest mistake 90% of people make when trying to take care of themselves. A mistake that quietly leads to burnout and self-betrayal. So let's begin. Let's be honest. The modern idea of self-love has become something we perform, not something we live. It's filtered through social media quotes, scented candles, and temporary escapes. We say, "I'm taking care of myself." But what we really mean is, "I'm running away from myself." The Stoics saw self-care differently. To them, it wasn't about pampering the body. It was about strengthening the mind. It wasn't about feeling better. It was about becoming better. Because how can you truly love yourself if you remain a slave to your impulses? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That sentence alone dismantles the entire modern industry of self-help. The Stoics never promised comfort. They promised freedom, and freedom begins the moment you stop giving your emotions, your environment, and other people control over your peace. This video is about that kind of self-care. Not the kind that makes you softer, but the kind that makes you solid. We'll walk through 7 Stoic habits that teach you how to love yourself through mastery, not indulgence. How to detach from emotions that once ruled you. How to simplify your life to reclaim your time. How to reflect daily and align your actions with your values. How to embrace discomfort and rebuild confidence through struggle. How to speak to yourself with clarity, not cruelty. How to protect your boundaries without guilt. And finally, how to live with purpose, so your days serve something greater than comfort. These aren't theories. They're mental tools forged by people who endured exile, poverty, betrayal, and yet still found peace within themselves. If you apply even one of these 7 habits, you'll begin to notice a quiet transformation. You'll stop chasing validation. You'll start choosing solitude over noise. And you'll find that the greatest act of love is to become someone your future self can depend on. So let's start with the first habit, the one that separates strength from sensitivity and peace from emotional chaos. Most people live as if every emotion demands a reaction. A message triggers anxiety. A rude comment sparks anger. A failure breeds shame. We are ruled by the weather of our emotions. Sunny one moment, stormy the next. But the Stoics taught that emotions are not commands. They are signals. And wisdom begins when you stop obeying every signal. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." He meant that pain multiplies when the mind refuses to stay still. The insult isn't what breaks you. It's your endless replay of it. The mistake isn't what ruins you. It's your refusal to let it go. To practice emotional detachment doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you observe them without surrendering to them. You become the sky, not the storm. The feelings can move through you: anger, sadness, fear, but they no longer define who you are. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your old self reacts: curse, tension, heart racing. Your stoic self pauses, breathes once, sees that this moment is nothing more than an external event. No harm done unless you decide to be harmed. That pause is power. That gap between emotion and reaction, that's where freedom lives. And every time you choose silence over impulse, you reclaim a little more control over yourself. Emotional detachment doesn't happen overnight. It's a discipline, a daily workout for the mind. The Stoics believed that your thoughts are like wild horses. If you don't hold the reins, they'll drag you wherever they want. So the first step is awareness. Notice your inner reactions the same way a scientist observes an experiment. When anger rises, don't ask, "Why am I angry?" Ask instead, "What belief made me angry?" Most of the time, it's pride. The belief that others must treat you exactly how you want. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, "Today, I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, jealous, and surly. Yet none of them can harm me unless I allow it." That's emotional detachment in practice, not coldness, but clarity. It's the ability to stand in the middle of chaos and still act with reason. In modern life, this means catching yourself before reacting to online comments, gossip, or bad news. Before replying to a message in anger, pause. Before assuming the worst, breathe. Before labeling someone as your enemy, observe. Each pause trains your mind to stay above the surface. You begin to realize you don't need to respond to everything that provokes you. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every emotion deserves obedience. And the more you practice this stillness, the lighter your heart becomes. Because peace is simply the absence of unnecessary reaction. Detachment isn't about indifference. It's about strength. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that your emotions are guests, not rulers. You welcome them, you understand them, but you never let them own the house. Over time, this mindset reshapes how you experience life. Criticism no longer cuts us deeply. Rejection loses its sting. Even failure becomes a teacher instead of a wound. Because when your peace no longer depends on outcomes, you become untouchable. But this level of calm doesn't appear by accident. It must be cultivated. The Stoics practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of misfortune. They would imagine difficulties before they happened, not to suffer twice, but to prepare the mind for reality. By rehearsing adversity in thought, they strengthened their emotional armor in advance. You can do the same. Each morning, imagine one small inconvenience: a rude person, a delay, a broken plan, and promise yourself you'll remain composed when it happens. Notice how your preparation makes the storm smaller. That's emotional mastery in motion. At its core, detachment is not withdrawal from life. It's deeper engagement with it, free from the chains of reactivity. When your emotions serve your reason, not the other way round, you begin to taste true freedom, the kind no one can give or take away. That's how the Stoic practices self-care, not by escaping emotion, but by mastering it. We live in an age of noise, not just around us, but inside us. Our phones vibrate every few seconds. Our calendars overflow. We chase goals that don't even belong to us. And then we wonder why peace feels impossible. The Stoics would call this self-inflicted chaos. They believed that a cluttered life leads to a cluttered mind, and a cluttered mind cannot see truth. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You will never be free until you stop being a slave to things that you cannot control." Today, those things often aren't external at all. They're distractions, endless scrolling, empty achievements, and necessary drama. Simplification is not laziness. It's wisdom. It's realizing that most of what consumes your energy doesn't truly matter. When you simplify, you strip away the excess until only what's essential remains. Your work, your values, your peace. Ask yourself, how much of your schedule is truly yours? How much of what you do is just imitation, chasing validation, attention, or applause? The Stoic path begins by subtracting, removing what's unworthy of your time, so your mind can focus on what's eternal. Simplicity is not about earning less. It's about being owned by less. Because when you stop chasing everything, you start becoming someone. Simplifying your life doesn't mean withdrawing from the world. It means deciding every single day what truly deserves your attention and having the courage to let go of everything else. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. We waste it on arguments that change nothing, possessions that mean nothing, and worries that will never come true. We trade hours of our lives for things that bring seconds of satisfaction." The Stoic solution is radical clarity. Each morning, ask yourself, what is essential today? Maybe it's finishing one meaningful task instead of 10 half-hearted ones. Maybe it's spending an evening with your child instead of scrolling through strangers' lives. Maybe it's choosing silence instead of noise. Simplification is not a what-if act. It's a practice of elimination. You'll have to say no more often. You'll disappoint people who expect you to live at their pace. But that's the cost of peace. Losing the approval of the distracted. In the end, you'll notice something profound. The less you do, the more present you become. And presence brings depth. Conversations feel richer. Meals taste better. Moments last longer. You stop racing through life and begin to actually live it. Simplify not to escape life, but to experience it fully. Simplicity is not just about decluttering your schedule or your room. It's about decluttering your soul. When your life becomes quieter, your mind begins to speak with more honesty. You start hearing your own thoughts again. Instead of the world's constant demands, Marcus Aurelius lived as an emperor surrounded by chaos, wars, politics, betrayal. Yet he wrote about simplicity more than power. He reminded himself, if you seek tranquility, do less. Or rather, do what's essential. That's the paradox. Even a ruler of the world found freedom not in having more, but in wanting less. Today, that same truth applies to us. You don't need to escape to a monastery or delete every app. You simply need to realign your priorities. Ask, does this bring me closer to peace or further away from it? If it adds noise, let it go. If it adds clarity, keep it. The Stoics believed that when you remove the unnecessary, what remains is the self, raw, stable, unshakable. And that's where self-respect is born. Because you can't respect yourself while living someone else's chaos. When your external world becomes simpler, your internal world becomes sharper. And in that simplicity, you rediscover something rare, stillness. The kind of stillness where your thoughts no longer scream and your heart no longer begs for more. That's the true luxury of modern life. Not abundance, but clarity. When was the last time you truly sat alone? Not scrolling, not talking, not escaping. Just sat and listened to your own thoughts. For most people, silence has become unbearable. We fill every gap with noise because we're afraid of what might surface when the noise stops. But the Stoics knew that reflection is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Seneca said, every night, before sleep, I examine my entire day. I review my actions and words. I hide nothing from myself. This was not punishment. It was purification. Through reflection, he cleared his mind of confusion, regret, and pretense. Daily reflection is the mirror of the soul. It reveals whether your actions matched your values or whether you were just reacting to impulses. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't actually live their own lives. They repeat them. The same thoughts, same mistakes, same distractions, over and over again. Because they never pause long enough to notice the pattern. When you reflect, you interrupt that loop. You create space to learn from your day before it turns into your life. You see where you lost your temper, where you drifted off purpose, and where you acted with integrity. This is how a Stoic cleans his mind, not by erasing the past, but by understanding it. Reflection is not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself. The goal isn't guilt, it's growth. When you look back on your day, you're not searching for perfection. You're searching for patterns, the invisible habits that quietly shape your character. The Stoics saw every evening as a reset. Seneca would ask himself 3 questions before sleep. What did I do well? What could I have done better? And what will I do differently tomorrow? Simple, but powerful. Because awareness always comes before improvement. You can do the same. Write in a journal, or just think in silence for a few minutes. Ask yourself, did I control what I could today? Did I waste energy on what I couldn't? Maybe you'll realize you argued over something trivial. Maybe you gave in to distraction when you could have focused. Or maybe, and this is important, you'll see moments where you acted with patience or courage. Don't skip those. Gratitude for your progress is as vital as honesty about your flaws. Over time, this habit turns reflection into strength. You stop reacting blindly and start living deliberately. Each day becomes a lesson, not a blur. And slowly, you begin to notice your life no longer feels random. It starts to feel designed, because you're no longer living by accident. You're living by awareness. The more you reflect, the more honest your relationship with yourself becomes. At first, it's uncomfortable. Facing your own contradictions always is. But discomfort is a sign that the mirror is working. Through reflection, you begin to see the stories you tell yourself, the excuses, the fears, the false identities you've worn just to belong. You see how often your actions are guided not by reason, but by emotion or ego. And once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. That's the beginning of transformation. Marcus Aurelius called this process polishing the soul. Each night, he would strip away the noise of the day and return to simplicity. What did I do with my time? Did I live according to nature, to reason, to virtue, to peace? That's the Stoic version of self-love. Not indulgence, but alignment. Reflection gives you direction. It turns your experiences, both good and painful, into wisdom. Without it, life becomes repetition. With it, life becomes progress. So make reflection your ritual. Not a chore, not a punishment, but a sacred meeting with yourself. Even 5 quiet minutes can realign your entire day, because the person who takes time to understand their past each night wakes up every morning one step closer to who they are meant to be. Everyone wants peace, but few are willing to earn it. We talk about growth, strength, and confidence, yet spend most of our time avoiding the very things that create them. Here's the paradox. The more you chase comfort, the weaker you become. And the weaker you become, the more comfort you need just to feel okay. It's a perfect trap. Soft, pleasant, and deadly. The Stoics saw life differently. They didn't seek pain, but they respected it. They understood that struggle is not the enemy, it's the forge. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Modern self-care says, "Be kind to yourself." Stoic self-care says, "Be firm with yourself, because you're capable of more than you think." It's not self-punishment, it's self-respect. When you deliberately choose what's hard, waking up early, finishing the workout, confronting the truth, you're sending a message to your soul. I can be trusted. The discomfort you avoid today becomes the weakness you regret tomorrow. But the discomfort you embrace becomes the confidence you carry forever. This is the Stoic understanding of love. Not indulgence, but endurance. Not comfort, but courage. To care for yourself means to train yourself, so that when life tests you, you don't break, you rise. The Stoics trained for hardship the way athletes train for competition. They understood that when you expose yourself to discomfort willingly, you become unshakable when life forces it upon you. Epictetus, once a slave, reminded his students, "Don't wish for a life to be easier, wish to be stronger." This wasn't arrogance, it was preparation. By enduring small voluntary struggles, you build the muscle for a larger ones. In our world, we've lost that habit. We avoid hunger with snacks, silence with screams, boredom with distraction. We treat every inconvenience like an injustice, and then we wonder why we break so easily under pressure. To practice this Stoic habit, start small. Take a cold shower instead of a warm one. Walk instead of driving. Go a day without checking social media. Not because those acts are magical, but because they remind your brain that you're in control. You decide what's necessary, not comfort. Each time you choose discomfort voluntarily, you build inner proof, evidence that you can survive without ease, without approval, without instant relief. And that proof turns into self-respect, because nothing feels better than realizing you no longer need everything to feel good. That's freedom, not luxury, not wealth, but the strength to remain whole in discomfort. Discomfort is not punishment, it's purification. It burns away the parts of you that depend on ease. It strips down your illusions and reveals what you're really made of. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayal, and the constant burden of leadership. Yet in his private notes he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." He didn't pray for relief. He practiced resilience. He understood that pain, properly faced, becomes power. You can apply this today. The next time life throws a setback your way, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every frustration, every delay, every heartbreak carries a lesson about your strength. The Stoic doesn't run from difficulty. He recruits it. True self-love isn't spa days and soothing words. It's building the kind of mind that doesn't crumble when the world turns cold. It's knowing that pain will visit, but it will not stay, because you no longer resist it. You work with it. In embracing discomfort, you learn to stop fearing it. And when fear loses its grip, peace naturally returns. That's the paradox at the heart of Stoicism. When you stop needing comfort, you finally find comfort that lasts. The most dangerous voice in your life isn't from your critics. It's the one that whispers inside your head. You hear it every morning before you even speak. It tells you you're not enough. It repeats every failure, amplifies every fear, and doubts every success. That voice shapes your entire reality. Because no matter what happens on the outside, your life is experienced through the words you use inside. If your self-talk is poisoned, even blessings will feel like burdens. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it that matters." He wasn't talking about positive thinking. He was talking about mental discipline. You cannot control events, but you can control the story you tell yourself about them. Modern people try to fix their circumstances before fixing their mindset. They change jobs, partners, cities, but take the same internal dialogue wherever they go. And so, their suffering follows them. Controlling your inner dialogue means interrupting the loop of self-criticism. When your mind says, "I failed again," answer, "I learned again." When it says, "I'm weak," answer, "I'm training." When it says, "This is the end," answer, This is the beginning of strength, because words are not harmless. They are blueprints. Every sentence you repeat becomes the foundation of who you are becoming. Your thoughts create the emotional weather you live under. A harsh inner dialogue is like walking through a storm you created yourself. Every step heavier, every breath colder. And yet, most people never question it. They believe every word their mind speaks, as if that voice were the truth instead of a habit. The Stoics knew better. They trained their minds to speak with reason, not emotion. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, meaning, whatever you repeat, you become. If you constantly feed your mind with doubt, you'll act small. If you feed it with anger, you'll see enemies everywhere. But if you feed it with clarity and gratitude, life begins to open. Even in hardship. To control your inner dialogue, start noticing the tone of your thoughts. Are they useful or destructive? Would you speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself? If not, then you've made your mind a battlefield when it could be a sanctuary. The Stoic doesn't try to silence the mind. He retrains it. When a negative thought rises, he doesn't fight it. He reframes it. He takes the emotion out, keeps the lesson, and moves forward. That's how calm is built, not through denial, but through disciplined interpretation. You stop arguing with your thoughts and start mastering them. The voice inside your head will either build you or break you. And the way you speak to yourself when no one is watching will decide the strength you carry when everyone is. Controlling your inner dialogue doesn't mean forcing fake positivity. It means replacing judgment with understanding, panic with perspective. It means recognizing that thoughts are suggestions, not commands. You are not your emotions. You are the one who decides how to answer them. Seneca warned that most misery is borrowed from imagination. He meant that our minds create suffering long before the world ever does. We replay mistakes that no longer exist, fear futures that haven't happened, and compare ourselves to illusions online. But the Stoic trains his mind to return, again and again, to the present, where life actually happens. Each time you challenge a negative thought, you weaken its power. Each time you choose reason over reaction, you sharpen your strength. And over time, your mind becomes a friend instead of a critic, a guide instead of a tormentor. That's the moment true peace begins, when your thoughts no longer fight you. Because the greatest freedom a human being can achieve is mastery over their own mind. Once your inner voice speaks with discipline, compassion, and purpose, no external noise can shake you anymore. Most people are exhausted, not because they do too much, but because they give too much of themselves to the wrong things. They say yes when they mean no. They try to please everyone and end up pleasing no one, especially not themselves. The Stoics would call this a failure of control. Epictetus taught that peace begins the moment you stop trying to control what's not yours and other people's opinions. Expectations and emotions are never yours. Yet, we constantly surrender our time, our focus, and our energy just to avoid discomfort. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They keep what nourishes you in and what drains you out. Without them, your life becomes noise, filled with demands, drama, and distraction. Modern society praises generosity but forgets that true generosity requires self-respect. You cannot pour from an empty mind. You cannot help others if you've abandoned yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, a man should stand upright, not be kept upright, meaning your stability must come from within, not from being pulled in every direction by others. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's sacred, because every time you say no to something meaningless, you're saying yes to your peace, your focus, your purpose. And that's the foundation of all Stoic strength, the ability to protect your inner world. No matter how loud the outer one becomes, people often confuse kindness with compliance. They think being a good person means never disappointing anyone. But in reality, constantly saying yes when your heart says no is a quiet form of self-betrayal. The Stoics knew that harmony doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from living in alignment with reason. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish or stupid. In other words, be willing to be misunderstood for the sake of your integrity. Not everyone will respect your boundaries, but that's not your burden to carry." Here's the paradox. When you stop trying to be liked, you become respected. When you stop explaining yourself, your silence speaks more clearly than any justification could. Setting boundaries isn't about confrontation. It's about clarity. You don't need to defend your peace. You just need to define it. That might mean declining invitations that drain you, turning off notifications that invade your quiet, or limiting time with people who confuse chaos for connection. Each act of restraint builds self-trust. Because when you honor your limits, you prove to yourself that your needs matter too. And once you truly believe that, you'll stop chasing validation, because you'll already have your own. Boundaries are not about distance. They're about direction, guiding your energy toward what makes you stronger. There will always be people who take your silence as weakness, your kindness as permission, and your availability as obligation. That's why boundaries are not just about saying no to others. They're about saying yes to your values. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In the same spirit, waste no more time explaining your boundaries. Live them. You don't owe anyone a speech about why you need rest, solitude, or focus. You simply live in a way that honors your limits, calmly, consistently, unapologetically. The guilt you feel when setting boundaries is a sign that you're healing from a lifetime of overgiving. Let it pass. You're not being rude. You're being real. You're teaching others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. And once your energy stops leaking into places it doesn't belong, something powerful happens. You start creating from a place of peace instead of exhaustion. Your relationships become cleaner. Your choices simpler. Your mind quieter. A Stoic life is not cold or isolated. It's intentional. Boundaries don't build walls. They build structure. They allow you to give from strength, not from depletion. Because only when you learn to guard your peace can you finally share it with the world. Look around. The modern world worships pleasure. Every app, every ad, every habit is designed to make you feel good instantly. And yet, we've never been more anxious, restless, or empty. The Stoics would say, it's because we've mistaken pleasure for peace. Pleasure is easy. Purpose is earned. Pleasure fades. Purpose fulfills. Seneca warned, "He who indulges his senses will not find satisfaction, only slavery." He wasn't condemning joy. He was exposing dependency. When your happiness depends on stimulation, you become addicted to escape. When it depends on purpose, you become anchored in meaning. Ask yourself honestly, how much of what you do each day is chosen by intention? And how much is driven by impulse? How often do you chase the next little hit of dopamine, likes, praise, comfort, while your deeper goals remain untouched? The Stoic path flips this upside down. Instead of asking, what feels good right now? Ask, what serves my purpose in the long run? Instead of chasing ease, chase excellence. Because pleasure is the reward of purpose, not its replacement. A life built on pleasure burns fast and ends empty. But a life built on purpose endures, because meaning is the only fuel that doesn't run out. Pleasure is not evil. It simply cannot lead. It has to follow something higher. When pleasure becomes the driver, you lose direction. But when purpose leads, pleasure finds its rightful place as a companion, not a master. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily at dawn. Remember, you were born to work as a human being, to think, to act, to serve, not to waste your days in comfort. He ruled an empire, yet his greatest concern was whether he lived each day with intention. The Stoics believed that purpose is the alignment between your nature and your actions. If you're built to create, create. If you're built to lead, lead. If you're built to learn, learn deeply. The tragedy is not failure. It's living without direction. Pleasure tempts you with escape. Purpose challenges you with engagement. Pleasure soothes your surface. Purpose strengthens your core. In today's world, where everything screams for your attention, focus becomes an act of rebellion. Choosing what matters and staying loyal to it is the purest form of discipline. You don't need to eliminate pleasure. You just need to place it behind your principles. Because when your actions serve something larger than comfort, you begin to experience a deeper, quieter kind of happiness, one that pleasure alone could never give. A life of purpose is not glamorous. It's grounded. It won't always feel good, but it will always feel right. Because purpose doesn't ask for comfort. It asks for commitment. It asks you to show up, even on the days when motivation is gone and no one's watching. The Stoics never measured life by how happy they felt, but by how honorable they acted. Seneca wrote, "A great man is one who uses clay as well as gold." Meaning, greatness is not about the quality of your circumstances, but the quality of your character within them. When you live with purpose, even suffering gains meaning. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I make of this?" The pain becomes fuel. The obstacles become teachers. The quiet moments become sacred because they remind you you're becoming. Modern culture tells you to chase pleasure now and purpose later. The Stoic reverses it. Chase purpose now, and pleasure will find you in its purest form. Peace. So ask yourself tonight, when this chapter of your life ends, will you have lived with distraction or with direction? Will your days leave a trace of comfort or a trail of meaning? Because in the end, self-love isn't about feeling good. It's about becoming good. And purpose is how you prove it. You've now walked through 7 Stoic habits, 7 ways to care for yourself without losing yourself. And if you look closely, they all point toward one truth. Self-love is not about comfort. It's about character. Let's remember what you've learned. Practice emotional detachment. Master your reactions and do master your peace. The world will always provoke you, but you decide whether to participate in its chaos. Simplify your life. The more you remove, the more you see. Clarity is the reward of simplicity, and stillness is the reward of clarity. Reflect daily. A few honest minutes with yourself can prevent years of repeated mistakes. The examined life is not just wiser, it's lighter. Embrace discomfort. Every hardship you face is shaping the person you're meant to become. Pain is not the enemy. Avoidances. Control your inner dialogue. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you experience life. Train your thoughts to be allies, not adversaries. Set boundaries without guilt. Protect your energy as fiercely as your time. Saying no is not rejection. It's direction. Focus on purpose, not pleasure. Pleasure fades. Purpose fulfills. Anchor your life in meaning, and even suffering becomes sacred. The modern world tells you to love yourself through indulgence. The Stoics tell you to love yourself through integrity. Because real love isn't about feeling safe all the time. It's about becoming someone strong enough to face life as it is. When you live this way, you stop needing constant approval. Because your peace no longer depends on the noise around you. You become calm in chaos, steady under pressure, and clear in confusion. That's what it means to be truly unstoppable. Not immune to pain, but unmoved by it. So tonight, as you close this video, remember this: self-love isn't something you feel. It's something you do. It's every disciplined choice, every honest reflection, every moment you refuse to betray your values. And if you live by these 7 Stoic habits, you won't just love yourself, you will become someone you deeply respect. If this message spoke to something deep within you, don't let it fade when the screen goes dark. Take one of these 7 Stoic habits and live it today. Not tomorrow, not when life feels easier. Now. Because wisdom only matters when it becomes movement. Tell me in the comments, which of these habits will you begin with? Detachment, discipline, reflection. Your words might be the reminder someone else needs tonight. And if you found truth in this, subscribe to StoicCraft, a place where philosophy meets the realities of modern life, where we learn, week after week, to stand taller, speak less, and live with greater calm. Until then, stay grounded, stay disciplined, and as always, stay stoic,